House Ethics Committee is called to order. An ethics complaint has been filed against Representative Stahl Hamilton. The complaint alleges that on more than one occasion, Representative Stahl Hamilton removed Bibles that belonged to the Arizona House of Representatives from their respective locations and hid them underneath couch cushions. That at least on one occasion, she removed a Bible from the members' lounge altogether and hid it in the refrigerator located in another room. The complaint alleges that the conduct constitutes disorderly behavior under House Rule 1, theft under Arizona Revised Statute 13-1802, and a hostile work environment as defined by state and federal law. This committee will not consider any collateral or irrelevant issues today.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Rodriguez, I'm not going to recognize you first until we see these videos, please.
But, yeah, Mr. Chair, it's just a...
Mr. Rodriguez, we're going to have plenty of time to go through the complaint. Right now, we're going through the evidence. You're not recognized. We're going to play the videos.
And it is Jesus who said, "Come, you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me in." This passage talks about the foreigner. And members, yes, we do have a crisis, and it does center around the border, but I think the crisis is with us on this side of that border.
Have you ever seen anything like this happen in the members' lounge?
No. On Wednesday, March the 29th, I received word that there was a Bible in the refrigerator in the coffee bar.
Mr. Chair, does Mr. Fitzgerald...
You know, I asked if there's any other questions. I meant for you as well. I can bring him back in here for a couple of questions if they're relevant to the matter himself.
Your office is connected to the members' lounge, is that correct?
Mr. Chair, Mr. DeGrazia, that's correct.
Would it be fair to say that the members' lounge generally physically is a rectangular area and your office occupies one corner, back corner of that area?
That's correct.
Would it also be fair to say that opposite from your office, there's also a kitchen area?
That's correct.
Mr. DeGrazia, do you have a question other than what we've already explained?
I have several questions,
Okay,
Mr.
please.
Chairman.
If you have a relevant question, please ask it.
Were you the person with responsibility for setting up the camera and taking it down?
Yes, I was.
What type of camera was it?
This is kind of irrelevant. Mr. DeGrazia, we're here on the violation of the rule. We're not here to investigate what kind of camera it was. Can we get to a question that's relevant?
The question that I'm getting to has to do with where the footage was stored, whether it's stored online in the cloud or whether it's stored locally to a micro SD card.
Well, I think you already answered that question, Mr. DeGrazia. Can we move on past that?
Mr. This is not a court. Rules of evidence don't apply. You should know that. You're a lawyer. Please ask relevant questions. As hard as this is, you're former politicians.
Can we move on, please?
Can I ask one clarification, then we'll move on?
Please.
This is a serious proceeding. We know, Mr. Chairman, that there's video and that it's been edited. We're looking for who did that.
Mr. DeGrazia, I don't know if it's been edited to the point, but she obviously didn't show up today. You guys are representing her. If this was such a serious offense like you said, which we believe it is, I would have hoped that she would have showed up. Mr. Vice Chair, you have a question.
Mr. Chair, I do.
excuse me, Mr. Chair, we have additional
I'm
questions.
sorry. I'm recognized. I'm
recognized.
Thank
Vice
you.
Chairman.
Thank you.
I don't believe that we
You've
had
been here. You know how
surrendered
this
the floor. I
works.
don't believe that we had surrendered the floor.
We're going to stay on this subject for a minute, and then you're going to get recognized again.
Mr. If you continue to speak when not recognized, I will ask you to leave.
Mr. Fitzgerald, I'm going to stop beating around the bush and get right to the point. Did you edit this video?
No.
Mr. Fitzgerald, is this a fake video?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, we're not
Mr.
asking, the question is not asking whether it's altered. There is a difference between edited and altered.
Mr. Rodriguez, I just stated that that was a clip of the footage, probably from the full recordings, that was not manipulated or edited. Another question, please?
Yes. No member came to you and reported any sort of anger or...
Mr. Rodriguez.
Or any other reaction to the fact...
Mr. Rodriguez, we've discussed this already with his testimony. We're going to move on now.
Mr. Heap, did you have a plan to do this before it happened? Did you set Ms. Stahl Hamilton up?
No, like everyone else, I was made aware when this became a national news story and we all saw the video.
Mr. DeGrazia, Mr. Rodriguez, you have an opportunity to ask a couple questions.
Thank you.
Please do, relevant to this, other than what we've already discussed. Please be germane.
You were not aware, certainly, of the Bibles going missing on the 23rd. Is that correct?
Like I said, I found out about that, about the incident after the fact, but I had no reason to file an ethics complaint before I was made aware of it.
So, Mr. Rodriguez, as I discussed in the opening remarks, we're going to ask questions that are relevant to the testimony. I don't see how that's relevant to anything that Representative Justin Heap has said.
My question to you is that your reaction to that behavior, or your characterization of that behavior, only came about several weeks after the alleged behavior took place.
Mr. Rodriguez, I don't know if this is relevant of what time that he filed a complaint.
It's relevant to his reaction, Mr. Chair.
It is true. I'm not prescient. I'm not psychic. I'm not able to file ethics complaints on incidents I'm not aware of before I know the fact. What was particularly disturbing to me is not simply that the Bibles were removed, but the photos of where these Bibles were placed. I sit in those chairs. So now I have to deal with the question of, at some point while these Bibles were missing, was I sitting on my own sacred text? I don't appreciate that to have been happened. I feel that that's inappropriate for any member to do that to other members. It's a desecration of their scripture and a disrespect for their beliefs, and so I felt at that point that it was appropriate to file an ethics complaint.
The location of the Bibles during both of the events that are being discussed today, you did not personally observe them in any of those locations, correct?
No, because they were concealed under cushions and I was unaware of it.
She didn't apologize for the action. She apologized for the offense of anyone who thought that that action was inappropriate.
Mr. Chair, may I ask some timeline clarifications?
If you have a question that has not been discussed already, please do.
Is this the complaint that you wrote, or was this written by someone in staff?
I wrote the complaint.
At some point, the form of the apology isn't as important as the acknowledgement of the conduct from the person. And she has described what she did as a peaceful protest. And we would further offer that it was a prank, a joke. It was done in jest. The history of this house is replete with members playing practical jokes or pranks on one another.
Why is Ms. Stahl-Hamilton not present today? I know she didn't have to be, but any reason other than she just wanted you guys, or?
Representative Hamilton simply chose to exercise her right to absent herself from these proceedings.
I find it a little bit disingenuous. You're talking about the separation of church and state. How is having a Bible sitting on a table somehow a violation of church and state?
If the question is what constitutes a violation of church and state, I think that's a moving target. And again,
I'm just saying, was Ms. Stahl-Hamilton, did she feel like she was being coerced to follow a certain religion?
We are not here to make any statements about what she thought at the time or what her specific motivation was at the time.
I'm asking because I truly don't understand what the issue, pick a different book. Book of Mormon, Quran, I don't care, sitting on that desk. Is that a violation of the separation of church and state to just have a book? I'd like to hear it from you guys, yes or no.
Please.
I mean, just is that a violation of that doctrine? I mean,
I appreciate you bringing up that issue. It is a very large subject, and it would actually be really appropriate for an ad hoc committee on the separation of church and state.
no, I don't go there. I think it's a red herring. I'll be honest about what it is. I'd like to hear yours or Ms. Stahl-Hamilton's opinion, because to me this is a total joke decoy. I'll just be honest about it.
I would like to bring us back to what we talked about at the very beginning.
I know, I bet you would. I am asking how the separation of church and state, which is what she claims she was trying to point out and highlight in her apology, how was that violated?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chair, I'd be happy to be part of any ad hoc committee, but we have nothing further on
Thanks,
this topic.
Mr. Chair. That's all I need.
She was actually taking action of a peaceful protest. What was her intentions of removing and concealing the Bibles?
We have nothing further to add to what she's already placed into the record.
Okay. Did she take the Bibles each time from the three occurrences, or was there anyone else involved?
Mr. Chair, same response.
Okay. Please note that they're not answering the question for Representative Stahl-Hamilton. If she had a goal of initiating a meaningful conversation about the Bibles, why didn't she make any effort to talk with other colleagues or bring it to the speaker or bring it to the majority party about the Bibles being in the lounge, of being offended by it?
Representative Hamilton's response has been made previously. We have nothing further to add.
Okay. Can you admit that your explanations are merely an attempt to justify your disrespect behavior rather than legitimate reasons for your actions?
Same response. We came prepared to discuss issues that were germane to the four corners of the complaint.
I'm trying to figure out if it was in jest, if it was a peaceful protest, if it was comedy hour, if it was something more nefarious. I'm asking the question because I really don't understand the behavior, and it's not seemingly normal behavior. Anything you can add to help me understand this a little bit better, either of you?
I understand that you may not agree that you may not see it as a joke, and you may not see it as a proper form of protest, but that is not really the issue here.
What are we protesting? That's what I'm asking.
So the question
It's
is,
already been
understand
stated. It's
what
in the
we're
record. It's in the record what was protesting, sir. Certain folks are just not comfortable with the way certain things happened.
Being aware that her secretive and undisclosed removal of these Bibles would be perceived as a deliberate act of disrespect to other members of religious beliefs, I would like her to answer why she would do that. No response?
Same response.
Same response with no response. Thank you.
I don't see this as a joke. I don't see it as funny. Respect for others and their beliefs. She didn't apologize for removing the Bible. I don't understand why she's so angry about a holy book that many of us feel very close and rule our lives by. Separation of church and state has nothing to do with this except for the misinterpretation that she sees there. There are other questions, but it's obvious she's not going to answer any of them. But I don't understand why she's so angry about the Bible.
Do you know if has Miss Stahl Hamilton ever stolen anything or been convicted of theft or any sort of crime associated with like shoplifting or stealing?
Mr. Chair, that question is not relevant to the proceedings.
Well, it helps me figure out if disorderly behavior is like if there's a pattern of it or if this is something new. Do you know? You can say I don't know.
If Representative
Okay.
Stahl Hamilton was here, she'd probably be able to answer that question.
Well,
This is a question for her, and since she's not here, you can try to answer it. Why would she disrespect the Bible here in the State House?
Stand on her previous statements in regards
Okay.
to this issue.
In her proceedings outside our State House, would she view that to be acceptable, hiding Bibles from the people she preaches in front of?
Again, sir, stand on her previous statements in regards to
I think it would have been better for Representative Stahl Hamilton to be here to answer some of our questions on her own, understanding that you two cannot do that for her. Without objection, we are adjourned. Thank you.